All praise be to the Most High God. I hope that you all are blessed and obviously, and most importantly, that y'all are seeking after the Father and having a blessed day. Today, I wanted to talk to you all about training. Training, 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 training. Train and then train and then train and then train. And then when you die and right before you get to heaven, train again. Let that last breath be like, one more Shilam Tao. One more kata. One more set of reloads, pistol and rifle. One more push-up. No, I'm just joking. But training, right? As men, especially men who are seeking after the Father, you know what I'm saying? Especially men of the tribes, training is important. But not just physical training, but mental training. Not just mental and physical training, but spiritual training. These things matter. The two scriptures, and again, Proverbs, because who doesn't love a good proverb? I like to tell my sensei in Iaido, I say, Sensei, you're starting to sound like a Japanese proverb. Because she often is telling me, you're using too much power. Use less power. The blade does not need you to cut. It can do that on its own. Simply guide it. Yeah, that sounds like a proverb, though, don't it? Somebody in the comments let me know. Does that sound like something that a wise tea drinking Japanese man with a long beard, that's been training in a rice field for 50 years would say? I used to be an adventurer till I took an arrow to the knee. No, I'm just joking. I'm getting all over the place. We got Proverbs 28 and 25. Give me 1 second. Let me pull that up for y'all and read it to you all. Proverbs 25 and 28. An undisciplined Christian lacking in self-control is compared to a city without walls. That is the context of what the proverb is saying. But in the English Standard Version, I read out the King James Version, but just for the sake of you all's understanding, a man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. Texas. I'm joking. It's not funny. Forgive me, Father. But just so y'all understand, consider this. If you have a city and all of the cities in your area, right, in the region that you live are fortified. Imagine that this is Yehoshua era Bethlehem and you got a city without walls and there's just houses in the openness. You're living in the field. What's protecting you? Nothing. Nothing is protecting you. This is what wisdom and self-control do for men. It protects us. I'm going to hit y'all with this one. Again, I believe this one is Ecclesiastes, but it's still King Solomon. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 12. For wisdom is a defense and money. For wisdom is a defense and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. Again, King Solomon. How can you not like this man? I understand he wasn't perfect, and I don't idolize any man because the master tells us not to be a respecter of persons. But Abba, this man was wise. There is a reason that a man must train. Reading scripture is training. It is applying yourself to know knowledge and wisdom. Because the fear of God is the beginning of... See, listen. Hold on. I got this one for you all too. Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. I've said this at least 50,000 times today in the past week. So as men, we must train. And so if we're training, if I said we have to train our minds, our bodies, and our spirits, if we're training the spirit, that means we're listening to scripture. If we're training the mind, that means we're listening to scripture. Now you may be asking, how do I train my body? Well, eating healthy, abstaining from fornication, which will save your spirit. abstaining from lust and adulteries. And I know that it's hard. Trust me, I know that it's hard. I be seeing some of these sisters, but I don't want all of these sisters. I want my wife. I don't want 50 women. I want the woman God has for me. Only wisdom allows a man to see that. What does it profit you to lay with 50 women if none of them want to bear your children and be your wife and continue on your lineage? It's a waste of life. We are wise out here, my brothers, so we have to train in wisdom. Oh, I got another one for you all. King Solomon. King Solomon. How can you not like him? Like, where is society falling that people don't like the scripture? King James Bible, say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman. You have to make wisdom your sister and knowledge your kinswoman. I talk to my sisters all the time. Wise. My kinswoman. Well, we know each other. This is how understanding is. So we have to apply ourselves to these things daily, day in and day out, meditating on the scripture. That's training right there. Now for the fleshly, Iaido, Wing Chun. These things are going to train your mental. They're going to take that mental discipline and apply it to the physical, which is then going to be, it's like a, you ever see the infinity symbol? When you apply the mental knowledge to the physical then applies it back to the mental. For example, they say mind over matter. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because if you're dehydrated and your body cramp up, it don't matter how hard you think you're not dehydrated. It don't matter how hard you think you got sodium in your system. If you don't have it, you don't have it. But you can train yourself to become efficient in mineral deprived situations. It happens all the time. So the knowledge applied to the physical then becomes the physical applied to the knowledge. The mind applied to the body becomes the body applied to the mind. And if both of these things are boosting up each other, you say, okay, well, I have to learn how to do this strike in the Ito. Sensei, how do I do this strike? Well, you do it like this, like this, like this, and like this. And then I process it in my mind and I do it and I master it. Then it's like, okay, I did that. What else do I have to do? Well, you have to practice that until you master it. You have to practice it until it becomes muscle memory. And then we can go to the next step. And then we go to the next step and the next step and the next step. The mind and the body are working together, and the spirit is reaping all of the benefit of it because you have increased your strength. When you sit and you fast, or you sit and you abstain, or you sit and you get away from fornication, when you say, Abba, El Roy, El Shaddai, Elohim, please grant me my wife, he's going to say, you want a wife? Well, first, I have to get you in a position where you can make money so that you can, again, wisdom is a defense and money is a defense. Have both of those things. But you're going to have to train. I can't just give you these things. You had something before that you cherished and you scuffed it up. You followed it. I gave you a Ferrari Enzo and you was driving down 6 Mile in Illinois, hitting every pothole, dinging that thing up. Not again. So if you want to take care of it, you have to come apply yourself to training. You have to seek after me diligently so I can make you an individual who is capable of wielding an Iaito, which means you have to give the blade direction and it shall cut. There is no power involved from man. This is training. This is understanding. Sitting at the feet of God. Submitting what you think you know. Y'all don't know nothing. I don't know anything, because the wisdom of man is foolish unto God, and he will give you up in your craftiness. You know what? I paraphrase that. I don't even want to paraphrase. I just want to hit y'all with scripture. For my brothers, I just want to knock you over the head with scripture, and you're going to leave here with 16 knots on your head like Billy and Mandy, but you're going to have knots of wisdom. Hold on, give me a second. Because you hear me typing that thing, huh? That's 1 Corinthians 3, verse 19. For the wisdom of this world is foolish to God, as the scriptures say. He traps the wise in the snare of their own cleverness. And this is the NLT version. Again, I read out the King James version, but I typed it in, and the first one that popped up is the one that I ended and took me to the Bible app as soon as I clicked on the King James version. Anyway, I'm going to read it out the book then. Let no man deceive himself. If any among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. For it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. It's a lot of people who think they're wise. They're going to be on your journey, brother, a lot of critics. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if you were aware of that. There's always a critic. Some of these people may be family members. Some of these people may be lovers even. Some of these people may be, when I say lovers with an S, I'm saying that you're laying with these people and you should not be. Because if this is the woman that God has for you, understand this is the woman that God has for you. So if you moving in accordance with the will of the Most High God, big dog, guess what she's going to be doing simultaneously? In conjunction, parallel to what you're doing, in the same trajectory, the same direction you going, she going to be like, that's my man, I'm going where he going. That's a terrible high-pitched voice. Forgive me, my sisters. I don't mean that. They're like, nigga, who's that? But that's what it is. So when you see me training, some of these days I don't want to train. Some of those videos, 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. I done had 2 energy drinks. I'm tired. I've been studying all day. I done went to the gym. I done trained the Iaido. I done took off the Iaido uniform, folded it up, put on a Wing Chun. I done took off the Wing Chun uniform, threw it in the washer, went upstairs, got all of my gear. I went in the basement and trained rifle. Then after that, I meditate. And while I'm doing that, I'm listening to scripture. And if I listen to 7 chapters in a day, I take that out. Or 7 chapters while I'm training, I take that out. Put on some music. I sit down. My eyes be bloodshot red. I did this every day in 2023. Every day. And I'm not going to stop. Because like I said, we train. You train, you train, you train, you train. I had a conversation with one of my older brothers. And he was talking to his wife. And she said, when is it going to be enough? And he was like, I pass out. I was like, she couldn't ask me that. I said, why? He was like, why? I said, because I would have said I'm going to be dead. What's the point of living as a man if you're not? And this is, my sisters, please don't think I'm crazy, but it's something inherent in men. Not no males, not no boys, not nobody who, I love my luxuries. You never, man, listen, in the past year, I had my power cut off. Man, living. Not even the power. I forgive me. I said the power cut off. My furnace broke in the winter, and I was just sitting here sucking it up. It was, 20 degrees in my crib. They was like, dang, bro, you got it in here. My man said you was in the military. So, I'm not even thinking you worried about no stuff like, I'm like, no, this don't bother me for real. It's just training. I may have just beans and rice. I get paid in a week. So I'm just eating beans and rice. Wake up in the morning, I got my tea, I got my coffee, I got my beans, I got my rice. I'm going to suck it up. Why? Because it's training. What you going to do? Cry about that shit? See, I almost slipped up, Jesus. So, what you going to do? Cry about it? Or you going to get it out the mud? That's what I'm trying to know. Because now I'm talking to y'all like I talk to my folks, you hear me? Is you going to cry about that shit, bro? Is you going to get it out the mud? You think I'm supposed to feel sad for you as a man? No, I'm going to encourage you to think of yourself as somebody who no one should feel sad for. God don't feel sad for you because God know what you're capable of. I don't feel sad for y'all because I know deep down in all of y'all, it's King David in that mug. It's Joshua in that thing. Simon Peter. Some of you all have the wisdom that Paul had. Some of you all have the wisdom that King Solomon had. Some of you all have the discipline that Moses had. Big brother Moses, big brother Joshua, big Yash and his disciples. Luke and Mark. Go look at how some of these disciples died. They were men. They killed Simon Peter so scantless. Go look at how they killed some of these disciples. I'm getting off topic, but I got to show y'all, listen, if you're a man and you're complaining about a tough time, come over here, let me sock you in your chest. So at least you forget about the tough times and now you worried about breathing for a little bit. Let me help you relieve some of that. My brother used to say, hey, let me just punch you in your leg and you will forget about that pain in your arm. That's how it is. And I know many of you all in society has made us, or many of us in this society, it has made us soft. It has made us feminine. I'm not saying detach from your feminine understanding, which is your emotions. But I'm saying for a time such as this, for the time that we are in right now, we need to sit down and we need to train ourselves. Because our women need us. Our children need us. Our little brothers and little sisters need us to be men because the males who are in charge did such a terrible job. He did this, yo. Terrible. They don't know what they doing. They don't know they scrunning from their butt cheeks. And they want to give advice. Sit yourself down and watch my God work. You ain't getting it in like this. Hey, man. What Wesley Slay? He's like, y'all think this is a game? What is these tights? What is that, spandex? That's what I'm trying to know. Y'all think this is cute, don't y'all? A lot of these people think it's cute. They think that you can have a firearm and pick that up and not be in an understanding that these are tools of a warrior's trade. So if you're not ready to be a warrior, don't pick it up. And this is going to scare some of you all off. The Yaito is the tool of the samurai. If you are not willing to use this blade, don't pick it up. Wing Chun is the tool of a martial artist who is in tune with his fist. It was created by a woman and named after a woman to beat up men. So if you're not using it, in the sense that you're going into combat, even if you're going into combat with your flesh. Oh, see, now I'm getting back spiritual. Y'all like how I full circled this thing. Because when you're training the mind, these martial arts help you to overcome the temptations of the flesh. It was many days on retention when I wanted to give in to the temptation of slide on a sister. Go back and look at these deleted numbers and see if I could. But see, I already knew how the devil liked to work. So when I delete a number, I delete everything. Delete the text messages, delete the contacts. Sis, some of you sisters, I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I had to unfriend you on social media because the temptation was too strong. It's not because of y'all. It's me, sis. It was me. I would have been trying to, hey, baby, can we just talk for a sec? I had to delete you, and it was nothing personal. I may have got some things off my chest, let y'all know how I feel, and I had to dip because I want a wife. And I understand that it's going to take training and discipline. It's going to take me waging war against my flesh because the last thing you want to do is ask God for a wife and you give it up because you adulterating out here in these streets. Because what do God say about that? Ooh, hold on, I got a scripture for y'all. This is a 20-minute banger. I got a scripture for y'all. This 1 Timothy 5 verse 8. And this is out the New International Version again. You know what, man? I'm going to just scroll down to the King James because I'm not about to keep reading out these goofy iterations. But if any If any provide not for his own, and specifically for his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. I'm going to break this down in Ebonics. If you ain't taking care of your folk in that crib, you hear me? You done denied God and you worse than the ops. And that's plain and simple, just like that. So we have to, as men, understand it is a privilege and an honor to be a man, but there's also going to be a period where you have to sacrifice and train. Because what they tell Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. I'm strong enough to punch holes in walls, but I'm not just a couple by mistake. I was trying to practice just to see if I had the technique right, and I had to explain that to my landlord, and that was a weird conversation. It happened twice. One was on the door, and I was like, damn, I really just did this. I'm going to go get some spack. But that's a whole nother conversation. But for real, we have to accept we don't get to change what we are. Only God can do that. And since we are what we are, we have to make the most out of it. And if you want to make the most out of this design that you don't have a blueprint for, you need to go to the engineer that made you. Full circle that thing one more time. We got to go sit at the feet of God and let him teach us how to use that Iaito. Let him teach us how to understand Wing Chun. Let him teach us the mechanics of firearms. Because if you know one thing, as Miyamoto say, if you understand the way broadly, you understand it in all things. The way that I skateboard is the way that I practice Wing Chun. My foot positioning is the same. Side neutral. Left side neutral. I do kick flips in a side neutral. It throws people off sometimes. Firearms is the same as EI. Yo, body positioning is the same. It's the same. It's the same. None of this stuff is different. In all of this, I found one similarity. If a man does not have strength in his mind, again, we going back to Proverbs. A man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. We have to be a city with strong walls. Not like the walls of Jericho. I got to throw that in there because I'm reading the book of Joshua. I had to throw that in there. Not like the walls of Jericho. Rahab was like, please, nigga, don't forget me. Hey, did y'all know, I keep throwing this in there. Joshua married Rahab, and for some reason that still just, it threw me off because they don't. Anyway, God just been showing me stuff. But again, make sure that y'all are training. Find a martial art. Sit and meditate, clear your mind, journal, write these things down and begin to unravel this foolishness that is this world so God can really start to piece together, to stitch together the tapestry that is you as the man. All praise, man. Y'all brothers be blessed, and I hope, I pray, I beg, I intercede that the Most High God will bless you all in this season, that he may bless your households in this season, that he may bless your lineage in this season. May everyone that come after you that is of your seed know nothing but peace and blessings and prosperity. May y'all keep the Lord's commandments, his statutes, and his Sabbath days. You understand me? Peace.